All right. Well, good Monday morning, everyone. I am Lisa Reinhart, and I am here at Dermadality headquarters in the beautiful city of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm so happy to welcome you all to this webinar focusing on the importance of skin conditioning, which is your ultimate skin insurance. So with me today is none other than Mr. Pumpkin, Mr. Dermadality himself, Tony Vogel. Say hi, Tony.
Hey, how you doing all today?
And then we also have the lovely co-owner and COO of Dermadality, Miss Victoria Jewell. And she's somewhere. I lost her here in the in my little, oh, there she is in my screen. All right. So we are excited to present this new presentation to all of you. This is a brand new PowerPoint. It's a brand new module, and we are focusing on the importance of something that Tony and Dermadality have spoke about for years, which is the importance of preconditioning the skin before attempting more aggressive or advanced treatments on someone's skin. And we know this is very important because the skin is the largest organ in our body. It's a living, breathing thing, and it'll tell us different things, right? So it'll tell us whether it's happy or sad, whether it's cold or hot, whether it's healthy or sick. So we have to really learn how to pay attention to those signs. We as estheticians and therapists need to be able to educate and communicate that information successfully to our clients so that they know how to read their skin, so that when we do finally get to a place where we'd like to really treat their symptoms and their concerns on their skin and really change the structure and function of the skin, we'll know how to do that successfully without taking a lot of risks. Now, you'll probably notice that you all are muted, and this is for a reason. We will have you muted through the entire presentation. If you do have a burning question, though, please put it in the chat. Ms. Victoria is monitoring the chats, and we will answer your questions at the end of the presentation. Also, at the end of the presentation, we will open up the mics for Q&A for anybody who is interested in asking anything about this presentation, Dermadality products, procedures, or just about anything. Also, at the end of this presentation, we ask for you to stay around because we do have a very special offering for you. So you don't want to miss that, and it's only good for today. I want to start by asking you guys why, right? Why is preconditioning the skin such an important aspect of what we do? Now, a lot of you, maybe even most of you, have been with, Dermadality for many, many, many years. Many of you have known Tony personally for many, many years. And many of you are seasoned estheticians and practitioners. So you're already preconditioning the skin. You know how not only our back bar professional only products and our home care products work synergistically together, but all of our individual products work synergistically together to really help to prep the skin and address whatever concern, whatever type of skin, and whatever Fitzpatrick your clients may have. But I want to kind of tell you a story. I want to give you a little bit of a visual why conditioning the skin or preconditioning the skin is such an important aspect for what we do, for the success of what we do. And so I want you to just imagine yourself. Now, I hail from Southern California, and every March, in early March, usually the first full weekend in March, LA holds its annual LA Marathon. That's 26 miles, right? And so imagine, if you will, you decide one morning, you wake up on a beautiful Sunday morning, and you decide you want to run the LA Marathon. So what's the first thing you need? Well, you need a pair of sneakers, right? So you go to the back depths, dark corners of your closet, and you find some old tennies that you have forgotten you had, and you think, okay, this will do. So you throw those old sneakers on and you run outside the door and you start running this 26-mile marathon. Well, let me ask you, how far are you going to get with those old beat up sneakers, not preparing yourself to run those 26 miles, maybe not stretching, maybe not, um, working up to those 26 miles. What do you think is going to happen to you on that route? Well, you're not going to last very long. And worse yet, you could probably injure yourself for life. So it's really important that you invest in a good pair of sneakers, right? You have to have the equipment in order to do the job. Second, then you're going to gradually work yourself up to those 26 miles. You're going to start with a half a mile, then 5 miles, 10, all the way up to 26. So that by the time you decide to run that 26-mile marathon in Los Angeles from Dodger Stadium to Santa Monica, you're going to be in really good shape. And chances are, not only will you be able to do it successfully, but you won't injure yourself and you'll be able to do it the next year. So that's why this presentation today is so important, because we're going to walk you through each step by step, not only on the importance of it, we're going to talk about, the signs that you need to look out for when needing to decide whether or not you need to take your clients on a journey through preconditioning the skin. Now, I talked about my seasoned estheticians that are on the call today. But what if you're new to dermodality? What if you're new to the aesthetic world? You're a brand new esthetician. Well, this is going to be your step-by-step instructions on how to analyze the skin, communicate to your client about their needs and their expectations. And then we have 3 brand new step-by-step protocols that are going to guide you into these different stages that are going to eventually lead you and your client to be able to receive stronger, more aggressive, more advanced treatments. So what are some of those advanced treatments? Well, in dermodality, we have our base 2 peels, right? So we have our TCAs and our Jesners and our 20% salicylic acid. But what if you wanted to even bump it even more? You wanted to take those acids and you wanted to combine them with different types of modalities, like microdermabrasion or dermaplaning. And then if you wanted to take it even further by adding in laser or even IPLs, photofacials, right? So these preconditioning stage facials will guide your client through a series of successful treatments that ultimately will lead them to a successful outcome of a stronger procedure, including up to and including those higher Fitzpatricks. So if everybody's ready, let's get started. Give me just 1 second. I want to do one quick thing here. Boom. I think I have to do it this way. Sorry, guys. And then I'm going to do this. All right, there we go. So, SKNditioning, your ultimate SKNsurance. So how is SKNditioning your ultimate SKNsurance, right? Well, it is the foundational process that ensures both your client's skin and your practice are set up for success. As we talked about before, there are many organs in our body, most of them we cannot see, but the skin being the largest organ, being the organ that is outside, we can see this. And the last thing we want to do is to harm or damage the skin long term and have unnecessary risks occur to where your client ends up being unhappy or unsatisfied with their treatment process. So what is SKNditioning? Well, it's a comprehensive approach that focuses on repairing, strengthening, and balancing the skin's barrier before even introducing any of those advanced treatments or protocols like we mentioned earlier. And this is really, really, I cannot stress this enough. As many of you know, I've been in the industry for a lot of years, and I cannot express this enough. You really have to be able to know how to do a thorough consultation, a thorough um, um, skin analysis, and then also to be able to know how to take your clients from 0 to 100. Okay. Whoops, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. So why is skin conditioning an essential part of the treatment process? Well, as we've mentioned, it strengthens the skin's barrier. I'm going to give you another little story here. So imagine, if you will, you want to make a blouse, or for the any guys that are on the uh, call today, a shirt of some kind. And you have two choices. You have a very fine chiffon, or you have a really durable cotton or even denim, right? But you're using a really high powered sewing machines with all kinds of bells and whistles. Now, mind you, for those who are seamstresses out there and do so, I don't, so I may not know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to sewing, but I can tell you one of those industrial type sewing machines that can do everything. So you have two choices. You can use this delicate chiffon, or you can choose to use this really sturdy cotton. So you decide to use the chiffon because you think that'll be pretty, but you put it underneath that needle and you go to work. Well, what's going to happen? It's going to fall apart, right? It's going to tear because it's weak. It's not strong enough to be able to withstand the strength of that sewing machine. But if you use the cotton, or if you use the denim, guess what? You're going to have a lot more success when doing and using that strong sewing machine. Well, that's no different than what we're doing with the skin. When we're going to be doing some of those more advanced treatments like stronger peels, layering with different types of modalities, and even an up to using laser, we really want to make sure that the skin is as strong and as healthy and as intact as it possibly can. So we really want to look for those telltale signs of a compromised barrier. That's one. And also, if they're brand new to coming to see you, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. It also is going to enhance the treatment outcomes, right? So the healthier, the stronger the skin is, the better and long lasting the treatment at the end is going to be. You also put yourself in a position to reduce any risks or complications or any unforeseen situations that may occur. And finally, it's going to increase your client satisfaction. It's going to increase trust and loyalty in your customer because you took the time to educate them on this very important process. So we talked about a compromise barrier, and these are just some, but not all, of the contributing factors that can lead to a compromised barrier. So overexfoliation. Now, when you're younger, we know that your exfoliation rate is pretty on par with our own natural cell turnover rate. It's about every 30 days. But of course, when we get older, that natural exfoliation slows down. So sometimes people think, oh, well, I need to exfoliate all the time, and I need to use really aggressive, harsh exfoliants. I mean, I used to teach in a school, and I had a 19-year-old student get a microderm one day, and then the next day she wanted a TCA, and and about a week later, because the TCA wasn't peeling her skin enough, she thought, okay, well, I'll do a Jesner's, and then I'll do this stuff at home. And I'm thinking, wait a second. Number one, you're 19. Oh, hello. Um, um, can you guys hear me okay? Okay, I had just a little bit of feedback there, sorry. Um, she was just over exfoliating your skin when she didn't need to. And so over exfoliation can be one of the main culprits for a compromised barrier, because every time you exfoliate, you are removing the top surface layers of that stratum corneum. Improper product use. This is again something that we can mitigate by having your clients come in and complete a thorough skin analysis with us and a consultation. A lot of people want to self-diagnose themselves, so they go to the local drugstore, buy whatever they think is going to be suitable, and it's really not. A lot of times there are harsh ingredients. And when I say harsh ingredients, I don't mean um, like you're using, floor cleaner on your face. No, that's not what I'm saying. Harsh ingredients could mean anything from somebody who's very dry skin, meaning lack of oil, using an alcohol-based product that is more suitable for an oilier skinned individual. That could be harsh ingredients. Too much sun exposure, right? Spending way too much sun and not using an appropriate sunscreen. Now, the next one says lifestyle choices. Well, sometimes what happens in our life isn't necessarily a choice. Um, Sometimes, we get undue stress. Sometimes our body becomes weak, right? Itself. And those indications will show up on our skin, right? But other times it is our own choice. We don't get enough rest. We work too hard. We smoke, we drink, right? All of those things that we're doing to our body is showing on the outer parts of our skin in a compromised barrier way. So we want to also, when we're doing that skin consultation and that skin analysis, we want to touch on those things, not to be judgmental, but to also educate our customers that, hey, some of these things that you're doing, you may not think that they're contributing to a compromised barrier, but indeed they are. Poor diet, lack of sleep, and I could go on and on and on. And then finally, some medications, right? Sometimes you have something going on in your life and the doctor puts you on a certain medication and the skin reacts in an unfavorable way. That happens a lot. And unfortunately, what do you do about it? Well, you go to see your esthetician and she's going to put you on a home care regimen that's going to mitigate those side effects. So why? Why the need to condition the skin? Well, ultimately, it's to minimize inflammation. Inflammation, whether it's acute, meaning that it happens quickly, or chronic, which means that it's there for a long time, maybe forever, right? Can damage the skin's barrier. So again, we as estheticians want to minimize creating too much inflammation because anytime the skin becomes inflamed, there's a whole cascade of processes that happen that can lead to things like increased sensitivity at the surface of the skin and irritation, which can show up as red, blotchy, itchy, rashy skin. PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Again, when the skin is injured. This can also lead to things like, Tony, are you trying to unmute yourself? Yes? I don't know if it's working for you. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you want to say something? Yes? Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. Now try to unmute yourself. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. So sorry, guys. I want Tony to speak. Okay, go ahead and try now, Tony. Try one more time to unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go. Yay.
I'm sorry. I really didn't want to interrupt you. You're doing wonderful, and it's such an important topic. And I'm gonna be just really, really quick. And you mentioned I actually just printed up some stuff, I look back at the date. I think it was 10 years ago. And what's interesting is everything you're saying is said right here 10 years ago. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's really been the foundation of dermodality. I want everybody to understand that. It's not by accident we did this. This was the very beginning, creating, formulating, and developing this line, having the interactivity between the products, allowing the strength of the retinols and vitamin C to really shine through in the true value they need to be, especially the vitamin A, and allowing each product to interact with each other. What I mean is having the symbiosis to adjust for every skin type. That's dermodality in a nutshell, but that's skin conditioning or skin conditioning that we're talking about. It is the most important thing that we can do. That's really what I wanted to say. And I was going to say that earlier, but it just kind of shocked me when I just pulled up something I had written 10 years ago, and just it's
Oh,
almost exactly what you're talking about today. So this is not new for us. I think it not I think it is so critical that everybody really embraces this, because there's no way you can control the skin and the response to the skin if you're not, when you're doing advanced chemical peels. And it's so important. Not just chemical peels. Think of it, all the modalities that we're doing today that involve the skin to be in a position to be able to respond to it in a positive way. And that's what it's all about. So I'll leave with that.
Tony, thank you so much. Like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, especially for our seasoned estheticians that have been with Tony for many, many, many years and have been loyal partners with Dermadality for just as long, you're probably already doing this. You're probably know to do skin conditioning, but it never hurts to be reminded. It never hurts to hear it again from different people, different industry leaders or classes. What it tells me after 28 years of being an esthetician is that they're saying the same thing I'm saying. That means that we're on the same page, and we're thinking alike, and therefore we're in gosh, the word kind of escaped me at the moment, but we're thinking alike, which means that that's a good thing. And the fact that Tony and Dermadality has been speaking about this since the beginning of time, Tony, I'm pretty sure, when you
Mhm.
formulated these products, and then pulling up information from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, absolutely. But I think what happens is that sometimes we forget, we get complacent, and especially then for our new estheticians out there and our new dermadality partners, you might not know the extreme importance of what we're talking about. It's like, oh, yeah, I know I need to do a facial first to see how her skin reacts. But it goes beyond that, because ultimately, whatever you're trying to achieve, right, with changing the structure and function of the skin, whatever that is, whatever their concern is, whatever their Fitzpatrick is, it can be a slower progress in that. And we don't want you to rush it, because rushing will lead to chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation will lead to any of these things on this slide becoming chronic in themselves. And chronic just means long-term. Acute means quickly, so it comes on quickly and leaves quickly, but chronic means that it's a slow progression up, and sometimes it can be a slow progression back. So again, if we do not focus on minimizing the inflammation, then the inflammation can damage the skin's barrier in a number of ways. So if we cause sensitivity and irritation and we don't address that, right? Anytime we do, the next time we do a treatment on the skin, it could create a prolonged healing time, which could open up the skin for risk of infection, loss of hydration, and like I said, chronic inflammation. It breaks down the barrier to a point where it'll take a very long time, if at all possible, to get the skin back into that healthy state. It could cause adverse reactions that maybe, were completely unexpected, and then ultimately poor treatment results. And if any of these happen, right, then your client is not going to be satisfied with you, and they're going to leave you, and they're not going to recommend you. So again, it seems like a small thing to think about, but the payout and the payoff is so important down the road. All right. Remember, if you have any questions, you can just write them in the chat. All right. So what is our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to keep inflammation to a minimum. Now, again, we know that as estheticians and therapists, we know that in order to wake the skin up, we do have to damage it a little bit. These are called controlled wounds, where we are in control of what we're doing. That's okay. But if you don't precondition the skin properly, or you jump them to a more aggressive treatment, let's say they're a Fitzpatrick 5 or 6, you've never seen them before, they come in and you start doing multi-layered TCAs, well, guess what? You're going to cause a problem on their skin, I guarantee you. So we want to minimize that. So the next goal is to gradually strengthen the skin's barrier function. And in this bullet, gradually is the key word. And I'm going to talk a little bit later on how we're going to gradually do that. And ultimately, to prepare the skin for stronger treatments to come. A good cleanse and a good moisturizer and absolutely a sunscreen every day is going to be great for your client's skin. But quite honestly, if they have something that they are seriously wanting to address, like fine lines or deep lines and wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, could be melasma, could be PIH, acne scars, rosacea, anything like that, a simple cleanse, moisturizer, and sunscreen's not going to be enough to mitigate their concerns, right? So they're going to have to do somewhat stronger treatments by a licensed professional such as yourself to achieve those greater results. And so again, instead of jumping into the deep end of the pool, we want to gradually prepare our clients so that they can eventually receive those stronger treatments, those more advanced treatments that then will absolutely change the structure and the functionality of the skin. All right. So the dermadality way. So again, this is what Tony's been talking about since the beginning of dermadality. These are products that are uniquely formulated to support the SKNditioning process, ensuring safety and efficacy for all skin types. Skin types. So types are oily, dry, somewhere in between. Skin conditions, everything I just spoke about, right? Anything that your client has an issue with. And most importantly, the Fitzpatrick level of the skin as well. So, meaning that our products in dermadality are formulated to support higher Fitzpatricks in a successful way. Tony, are you taking off? Are you hitting the road?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I saw you pack it up there a little bit. Okay, no problem. Um, and so that's the important thing that you have to understand is whether it's our professional only back bar products or our home care products. These formulas are all created in a synergistic manner to work together, either by layering or cocktailing to achieve that customizable personal routine for your clients, whether it's in the treatment room or for that home care. The reason why we're giving kind of step-by-step instructions now is just a guideline to show you how it can be done, and also for those who are new to dermadality. Again, for those of you who have been with us for a long time and are those seasoned estheticians, you know, customize and personalize away with whatever you're doing. All right. Remember that this SKNditioning system is dermadality's proprietary system, right? So Tony's been talking about this for years, about layering our base 1 peels with our pumpkin multi-fruit enzyme accelerator, leading up into our base 2 peels. So just to repeat, it prepares the skin for stronger treatments, minimizes inflammation, reduces risk of scarring and hyperpigmentation, can help to refine the overall texture, and most importantly, provides for successful outcomes for your clients, which again, I can't repeat this enough, provides loyalty and commitment and dedication to you. So what is the dermadality way? Well, it's guiding your client through education or consultation through a series of restorative facial treatments that'll help to strengthen the skin's own natural defenses. So the skin already and the body already knows how to repair itself, but at certain times in our life, age, medication, different things that come into play in our skin, sometimes that can inhibit our body to naturally repair itself. So it needs a little bit of help. And that's what skincare and facials are all about. It's helping the skin to do what the skin already knows what to do. So, to improve the skin's overall health and its ability to withstand more advanced skincare products and treatments without experiencing sensitivity and leading to a whole host of other adverse reactions to the skin. So, where does it all begin? Well, it begins right here, right, Tony? It begins with our base one peels, which includes Mandelic. We also have our C Vitalic and the intensive brightening. And then, of course, our the one and only famous pumpkin peel. So we usually ask you to start off with our Mandelic for many reasons. One, Mandelic is a very unique alpha hydroxy acid in the sense that number one, it's the only oil soluble alpha hydroxy acid, right? It's only oil soluble. And even though some of our clients may not have a lot of oil production, they're still going to have some. And so Mandelic is easily recognized at the surface of our skin because it's oil soluble, right? So it is a lot gentler than some of the other alpha hydroxy acids. The second most important thing for mandelic acid is its molecular structure. It has a very large molecular structure compared to glycolic acid. So therefore, it's going to penetrate a little bit slower, a little less aggressively on the surface of the skin. It's going to be much more gentle, again, than say like just applying a glycolic acid. So our base one peels in general are gentle yet effective. They're customizable and versatile. And especially the mandelic is a great indicator of the skin's health. If you have a brand new client that comes in and you don't know anything about them, start with the mandelic alone and check to see how their skin responds and reacts to that mandelic acid. That will tell you a lot of where you need to go going forward with our products. And then, of course, it's suitable for all Fitzpatricks. Remember that when Tony created these products, he created these products with the sole intention that these products and ingredients will be suitable for all Fitzpatrick types, even including and up to a Fitzpatrick 6. And that is such an important aspect to the skincare line because not all skincare companies that have these types of products can easily say that with confidence and assurity. So one of the things that we've done for you guys is we have created 3 step-by-step conditioning protocols. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate for our seasoned estheticians, this is just a guideline. You can take a look at them. Maybe you're doing something similar to this already. But for our new partners, this is going to be an invaluable tool to understanding what you need to do when we say precondition the skin. Okay. So stage 1 introduces gentle exfoliation. We use the mandelic, we introduce the mandelic acid peel into this first treatment. And this is really to help get the skin hydrated. We want to start the process of improving the skin health and the skin's barrier. With each treatment, we want to focus on a minimum of 2 treatments per stage, with the option for continued sessions as needed to achieve optimal results. And I'm going to talk about timing a little bit later in this presentation. So I know this is probably hard for most of you to read, and that's okay. We do have these available that we can email them to you. Um, and um, uh, and so I'm just going to go over it very quickly. So basically, you do a double cleanse. You're going to prep the skin like you always do. You're going to place the mandelic peel on the skin, and you're going to leave it on for about 3 to 7 minutes, depending on sensitivity, depending on how many times you've treated this client in the past. We do have an option if you want to massage the hands and arms at this time. It's just an option. Then we're going to remove the Mandelic peel. This really isn't a self-neutralizing peel, so you do want to make sure that you remove it and do several rinses, just to make sure that the client isn't sensing anything else. You're going to apply the gel mask. This is going to introduce a lot of hydration, calming, refreshing properties into the client's skin. You're going to follow up with an application of the Hyaluronic Pro and a good moisturizer. We recommend the Moisture Soothe eye cream and then sunscreen always. Once your client has successfully completed stage one, now you can bump them up to stage two. So stage two enhances our skin conditioning treatment with Dermadality's pumpkin multi-fruit enzyme accelerator peel. So if you did not know, and for those of you who I've talked to on the phone, I know many of you do not realize, but the pumpkin peel was developed to be an accelerator to our alpha hydroxy acid peels. Now it works fabulously on its own, but it works even better when it's combined and layered on top of any one of our three base one exfoliants. So this powerful combination amplifies the effectiveness of our Mandelic peel, delivering even more brighter, hydrated skin. So again, you're going to do all the same steps that you did in stage one, but this time you're just going to add in a layer of the pumpkin peel. Once they've successfully achieved stage two, now you're going to graduate them to stage three. And this one basically is the creme de la creme. It culminates with using all of our steps in stage one, but instead of moving forward with a sunscreen or the moisturizer. Now we're going to finish this off with an application of Dermadality's Retinol Cascade 2020. By this time, the client's skin is in pretty good shape, and we want to just kind of give this one more last little boost to really seal in the benefits of preconditioning the skin so that when you do take them to that next level, whether it's base twos, layering different modalities, or even incorporating a laser treatment, the skin is going to respond better than you could ever hoped to respond. Now we talked a little bit about the different like when's a good time to do these treatments, right? But before we get started, before I introduce the timeline for each one of these stages and the number of treatments in each stage, I want to share something with you that has really worked over the last several years in my career when performing these treatments, these stronger, more aggressive exfoliants on the skin. And as you all know, we always check in with our clients. We put these peels on. We're there kind of watching and everything. I hope you're not leaving the room when any of these products are on the skin. Um, and if you are, don't. But we always check in, right? And what's the biggest response that we say? So, Susie, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? And they answer something like 4 or 7. And I've always thought to myself, what does that mean? What do I do? So I came out with a process called the 1 to 5 rule. So when you're checking on your client, you want to ask your client, on a scale of 1 to 5, how is your skin feeling? Now, when you put different acids or different exfoliants on the skin, it can change over time. Sometimes you can apply something and they don't feel much at first, but after a minute or two, it gets pretty intense. And sometimes it can be the reverse. You put something on, they feel it really intensely for about a minute, and then it kind of dissipates. So you may want to ask this question a couple of times throughout the time that that peel or exfoliant is on the skin, but use the 1 to 5 method, and I'm going to show you why. So number one, if they answer you number one, it means that they're not feeling anything at all. Everything is going well, and you can go ahead and probably leave those exfoliants on the skin for the maximum time. So if you're doing just Mandelic, it would be somewhere between, it would probably be about 7 to 10 minutes if you're just doing mandelic, right? If you're adding in the pumpkin, well, then it might be 3 to 7 minutes for the mandelic, and then up to 14 or 15 minutes with the additional pumpkin. That doesn't mean an additional 15 minutes for the pumpkin. It means an additional like 7 or 8 minutes for the pumpkin, creating a 15-minute window. You're going to also, though, even though they're not feeling anything, or they say they're not feeling anything, you do want to make sure, though, that you are still watching the progression of the skin. You're looking for things like redness, inflammation, blotchiness, rashiness, anything like that. You're also looking at the client's facial expressions. Are they wincing? Are they fidgety? Do they want to, try and scratch their skin because the skin is itchy? Are they feeling irritable or uncomfortable because there's heat, right? So you want to kind of pay close attention to that as well. 2, this is when they're feeling a slight tingling or a stingling, but it's not really uncomfortable. It's doable. So again, you could, based on what you're physically seeing, the visible signs of their skin and their demeanor, you could leave the products on for their maximum time. 3, we're going to skip right now. I'll talk about that in just a minute. 4, now this is where they're a little bit uncomfortable. They're troopers. They're, sucking it up. But this is where you really want to pay close attention for any adverse reactions. Pay close attention to their facial expressions and their body movement. And you may want to start thinking about removing those exfoliants sooner than later. And then 5 is extreme discomfort. They just want to jump off the bed. They want to rip that exfoliant off their face sooner than later. So you do want to remove this as soon as possible. And you want to remove this any way that you can. Cool water, towels, SD wipes, sponges, whatever you have on hand, and keep rinsing and rinsing and rinsing until that discomfort dissipates. So let's go and talk about 3. Why don't I like the number 3? Why don't I allow my clients to use it? Because it's on the fence answer. If you ask somebody, how's your skin feeling on a scale of 1 to 5, and they say 3, what does that tell you? Think about that for a minute. Does it tell you you leave it on longer? Does it tell you you start to think about removing it sooner? It's really just kind of a vague answer. And I guarantee you, all of your clients, if you left 3 in the option, every one of your clients will say 3, right? So you want to make sure not to let them say 3, because you, as the professional, need to understand where they're at when it comes to these types of exfoliations on their skin. Okay, so let's talk about treatment cycle. So as we talked about earlier, we talked about the normal exfoliation cycle of the skin is about every 30 days or about 1 month. Of course, it slows down as we get older, but 30 days is the basis, right? So if you're only doing these treatments every 4 to 6 weeks, guess what? Every time you start the process, you're starting from ground zero. So you're never going to get ahead. What you have to do is you have to treat the skin sooner than when that skin is going to be back to its regular state. So we recommend this series of treatments be done every 2 weeks, okay? Or no more than 3, depending on scheduling, but 2 weeks is the ideal time frame, all right? So every 2 weeks, and that's for stage 1 protocols, stage 2, and stage 3. Now, within each stage, how many treatments should you do? Well, we recommend 2, and there's a really good reason why we recommend a minimum of 2 treatments per stage. And I want to share this with you now. Suppose your client comes in, you're going to do a series of SKNditioning treatments because eventually you want your client to receive a multi-layered TCA peel to address hyperpigmentation and facial scarring, right? So they come in, they have a stage 1 treatment with you, and everything goes perfectly, right? They had no adverse reactions. Everything was great. And you're thinking, oh, wonderful. Their skin is in better shape than what I thought. We're going to bump them up to stage 2. 2 weeks later, the client comes in. Maybe you've bumped them up to stage 2, and now they have a severe reaction to whatever you're doing. Well, does that mean that you've done something different as the esthetician? Does it mean the products that you're using are different other than the addition of adding in the pumpkin peel? No. Most likely it's because something in that 2-week time frame happened in your client's life, meaning that did they go on vacation to the Caribbean and lay out in the sun for 7 days straight? And now, even though you don't see a visible tan or any redness, their skin is still inflamed underneath, causing a negative reaction when you put those stronger exfoliants on the skin. Perhaps the doctor has put them on some new medication that is causing the skin to react differently. There are a whole host of things that we can talk about your client's skin that could be the reason why on the second treatment 2 weeks later, their skin did not respond as favorably as it did after the first treatment. So this is why we recommend doing minimum 2 treatments of the same stage before moving on to the next stage. Because if that client had a good treatment the first time, but a not so positive response the second time to the same stage, that's going to tell us we need to keep them in that stage a little bit longer. So I hope that really made sense to all of you in the reasoning why we don't want to jump them too quickly. Remember, this is a gradual process to get your client's skin in a favorable, healthy state to receive those stronger treatments. So if you've done 2, 3, or 4 stage 1 and everything is working out beautifully, now you can bump them up to stage 2, and the same scenario is intact, meaning that first week, if everything goes good, great. Then you're going to do 2 weeks later the same treatment. If everything works beautifully, no adverse reactions, now you're going to bump them up to stage 3. Now, professional treatments with you, the esthetician, is really important, right? We all know that. We know that coming in to see a licensed professional who is licensed to use stronger products and ingredients at higher percentages and lower pHs and is really educated in knowing how to read the skin better than our clients. We know how important that is, right? But that's only part of the process. The other process, even more so, is home care. And home care, and especially home care, if you're doing a dermadality SKNditioning series with your client, then they must be using dermadality products for home care in conjunction for that skin conditioning process. I got another visual for you guys. So think about this for a moment. I know you guys have all heard the dentist analogy, but for the 1 or 2 people on the call that have never heard it, when you go to the dentist and they clean your teeth, what do they do before you leave? They don't say to you, "Oh, I've cleaned your teeth so well. You don't have to come back and see me. You don't have to make another appointment. And you don't even need to brush your teeth twice a day. So therefore, I'm not going to give you a toothbrush or toothpaste or anything like that. You are perfectly fine because I've done such a great job on this one treatment. You don't need to do anything else." Nah, the dentist doesn't say that, right? So why should we? And teeth aren't even the largest organ in our bodies, right? We can technically live without teeth. We cannot live without skin. Think about that for a moment. There's a lot of things about our bodies that we can live without, but skin is not one of them. So home care becomes a crucial part of this process. And if you are not recommending and sending home care products for your clients to use in between these treatment intervals, then you are not setting your client up for success. Remember, the importance of home care products is the 80-20 rule. 20% is what we do every couple weeks in the treatment room and also educating the client. The other 80% comes from their commitment to use the products daily, come back and see you, right? And and then of course I always add this in, making sure that they wear sunscreen because that is the number one skincare product out there that's going to help them reverse anything where it's or prevent fine lines and wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, scarring, all of those factors that could come into play. So home care, why is it important? Well, it creates consistency for the customer, right? Um, whatever you're doing in the treatment room, when you send them home with products, they're going to be continuing what you did in the treatment room. Home care products can also be customized, right, by you. So we're going to give you an example of some what we recommend to start your clients out with. But the nice thing is that you can customize them. So if the weather changes, if your client's diet changes or their medication changes or what have you changes in their life, you can customize their home care to address that. It will, of course, enhance the facial results, and it also can prevent any kind of future adverse reactions that may come up. And of course, cost effectiveness, right? By you recommending the products, they're not having to go out and guess at the local store what they need to use and then end up with a drawer full of products that they can't use. So home care, what we're recommending is a simple 5-step process, right? And in this, we recommend starting with a really great all-around cleanser for any skin type, skin concern, or Fitzpatrick, and that's our Mandelic and Green Tea Cleanser that has not only a lot of cleansing properties to remove dirt and oil and debris from the surface of the skin, but it has those antioxidants and those hydrators that are going to help to protect the skin. There's nothing better when preparing the skin. There's nothing better than our dynamic duo. Now, I do call it the dynamic duo, and that is our vitamin C intense and our vitamin A intense. Now, did I say vitamin A twice? I apologize. Our vitamin C intense and our vitamin A intense. Now, the vitamin C you're going to use, you can use it morning and night, but we do recommend always to use it in the morning. And this is because vitamin C in its nature is to help to protect the skin. So it's going to help to protect the skin from, unwanted pollutants, free radicals, any stressors that are going to come across our path during the day. So it's really going to help to protect and strengthen our skin during the day. Vitamin A, on the other hand, is a repair product. The vitamin A intense is going to work better at night to help work synergistically with our own body's self-repair mechanism. So we want to make sure that we use the vitamin A at night and the vitamin C in the day. You're going to use a good moisturizer. Here we've suggested the Moisture Soothe Plus. Excuse me. And then finally, a good sunscreen, our Sun Moist SPF 30. This goes without saying. So this is the lineup of products that we highly recommend that when you are scheduling your clients and setting them up for a series of SKNditioning treatments, we recommend this for home care, at least as a starter. You can intertwine other products, as your clients go through the series with you, but these are our starting products. Now, I told you a little bit earlier that we have a special little surprise for you. And again, being an esthetician for as many years as I have, I love simplicity. I love not having to think a lot about things that I don't want to think about. And in this case, if you were going to do all 3 stages of these facials, what products do you need to have in your back bar, right? What products? So we've made it very simple for you. So we've given you a list of all the products, retail and professional, that are included in your dermodality treatment protocols, those 3 stages, if you will, of the SKNditioning. So this is the list, and of course, we'll make sure that everybody has this list. But wait, there's more. So remember, this is a kit. This is a specially priced kit. It's called it's the Essential SKNditioning Pro Kit. So when you call up to order this, you don't have to say anything more because we're going to know to include all of these items in that kit for you. But wait, there's more. Included in with all of those dermodality back bar and retail products are all of these wonderful things. So we're going to give you a free Hyaluronic Pro we want you to sample our massage cream. If you're not using our facial massage cream, we really want you to try it out because if you're like me, when I have downtime, I do like to massage the hands and arms or the neck and the décolleté, anything like that. So we're going to throw in a little bit of that. Everybody needs a fan brush. We're going to include brochures, a notepad, a care guide, and retail bags. What's even greater that we're going to include in this kit is we have developed a 5 product mini kit utilizing our trial size products that will correspond with the 5 home care products. And we are going to include 3 of these mini kits into your essential skin conditioning pro kit. And this is really important because you can either sell these, and by the way, all of our minis right now, you can purchase 5 of our trial sizes for $30, mix or match. So 5 for 30, but we're including 3 sets already in with this kit. So it's a phenomenal deal. You can either, so when you're setting these, booking your clients for the success, you can either include a set of these minis in with the treatments, or at least the first treatment, or you can sell them to your clients as sort of a try before they commit to the larger sizes. But trust me when I tell you, it is so important for clients to take product home because the more product they take home, the more likely they're going to come back and rebook with you because that home care is going to work synergistically with what you're doing in the back room, and they're going to see that improvement in their skin immediately. So let's talk about money, right? Let's talk about investment. So the total cost for all of the products in your kit is $550. We've included $253 worth of extras, totaling a value of $803. Your cost today is $499. That's an amazing price. But wait, there's more. Don't you love that when they say, but wait, there's more. If you purchase this Essential Skin Conditioning Pro Kit today for $499, we're not only going to include everything that we mentioned today, but we're going to give you a 4th mini kit for free and the favorite words of everyone, free shipping. Yes, you heard me, free shipping. Now, the total approximate treatments that you can get out of this is 30. You will end up at the end of the time with more products that you can use, and you may need to just supplement other products that either A, you already have in your back room, or you may need to place a small reorder. But this will really help out in the long run because you won't have to think about anything, and you can start booking your clients for facial treatments right away for these skin conditioning treatments. Oh, and by the way, this doesn't have to necessarily, this series of skin conditioning doesn't necessarily have to be just for a new client. And it certainly doesn't have to be just for clients that you're thinking of moving up to a more advanced treatment. No, this can be a series for any of your clients who want to improve the texture, the structure, and the functionality of their skin. So, okay, so for those of you who are really business minded out there, okay, I put a little slide in here to address certain things. So when you do any one of these treatment, what is your out-of-pocket cost, right? Okay, well, your out-of-pocket cost is going to be somewhere between $250 and $4.50. The reason for the discrepancy in that is because whether you're doing stage 1 facial or stage 3 facial, because there's different products, there's more products that are used in each facial. We recommend charging for one treatment, doesn't matter if it's stage 1 or stage 3, we recommend a flat rate of $150. But to entice your clients to come in a series, right? We suggest including 3 treatments at $375, or you can do 4 treatments for $500, whatever price range you want. But these are just some numbers to kind of guide you to where you need to be. You can also, and we highly recommend this, including in their bundle of 375, include one of the mini home care packages with recommending that they purchase the full size home care products the next time they come in. Your overall return on investment when you take away everything, you take away your cost per treatment and your initial investment, will be somewhere between 86 and 94%. Again, this is a range depending on how many treatments you do, what the cost of the treatments are, and which treatments you're actually doing. So that's a pretty huge return on investment. So I hope you guys can get excited. Now I know we're running a little bit long, so I just want to kind of just briefly show you a couple last slides here. And Miss Victoria is going to chime in here to talk about these things. But we've talked a lot about what we can achieve when the skin is properly conditioned, right? We've talked a lot about it. But how many of you guys want to see a picture of a person that wasn't properly preconditioned? Here you go. Can you guys imagine that? So this gentleman walked into a salon, wanted a treatment. The esthetician had never treated the skin before. They decided they were going to do a TCA on him and look at, how gorgeous he is on the left, and look what happened on the right side after one treatment of a TCA peel. This is that adverse reaction that can happen when the skin is not properly conditioned, as we like to say. And this is something that I hope every esthetician, seasoned or new, will want to avoid at all costs, because no one wants to lose their license or their livelihood for not taking the proper care and steps to ensure a successful outcome. I don't know about you guys, but if I had a client that came into me and they insisted that they wanted me to do a strong treatment, maybe they were telling me, "Oh, I've had TCAs all my life and I'm fine with them, so I want to do a combined TCA and something else." I would not do them. I would not touch their skin, no matter how much the money, because at the end of the day, if something negative should happen, it's not, I mean, yeah, their skin could fall off, but that's them. I don't want to lose my license. I don't want to lose my livelihood. So I will stick by what I believe in and tell that client no. So here we have an individual, similar Fitzpatrick, and this client was properly preconditioned. They started him out with the Mandelic peel and the gel mask, finished with some Hyaluronic Pro. The second treatment, which was a few months later, did the Mandelic. They left it on for 5 minutes with no sensitivity, applied the pumpkin right on top of it. They applied again the gel mask for calming sensation. And then the third treatment, which was about a month later, they bumped the process up to the intensive brightening layered with the pumpkin. They added in the gel mask with our new booster, Ignite, and a soon to be released booster, and then finished with the 2020. So as you can see the difference in these little circles here, what those just three treatments did for this customer. No negative side effects, only improvement. And the more times this gentleman comes in to have these treatments, the better his skin is going to look. Now, one of my favorites is this one. This is our fearless leader, the beautiful Miss Victoria Jewell. And she's going to walk you through a little bit of her treatment, I hope. But the picture on the left, showing all the hyperpigmentation, the dilated capillaries, the uneven texture on the skin. This was taken in August of last year versus the picture on the right, which was taken just this month. So what does skin conditioning, the ultimate in SKNsurance, mean for you and your clients? Well, as you can see, fewer risks, better results, confidence, trust, and loyalty. And loyalty and trust are huge, because not only it not only does it ensure that your customers come back time and time again, but they will also refer people to your business, which is key. Victoria, do you want to walk everybody through your process here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, can we actually, I want to say something about the picture before Jerry. So
Uh-huh.
Jerry is my friend. He had never had any treatments. Are you able to go back one?
Yeah, I'm going back. There we go.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I call this journey with Jerry. So he, again, no treatments. I think he just turned about 50 years old. His occupation is outside. So he's weathered. And I was telling him, of course, he knows what I do. And he's like, out of nowhere, can you do some treatments on me? I'm like, sure, let's do it. So, I've seen this skin conditioning process work. We've seen it so many times throughout the years. If you follow it, it never fails. So I did just exactly that. I started with the Mandelic peel because it is the indicator peel. And it did tell me so much about the health of his skin. So when I put the Mandelic peel on, at the time, I was asking the 0 to 10 until Lisa taught me the 0 to 5 method, which I really, really like. But I asked him, 0 to 10, where are you at? And he told me he was at about a 7. With the Mandelic peel is crazy because it's so gentle. Your clients typically don't feel anything except for somebody who does have a compromised barrier. So, no problem. I did feel his skin with my fingers and it was a little warm. I could tell it was starting to get a little inflamed. So I took it off at like maybe 2 minutes. I only left it on for about 2 minutes. And then I just put the gel mask on to calm it down. And most importantly, I sent him home with home care. So he's my case study. I'm super busy. I couldn't have him back every couple of weeks, but I sent him home with a cleanser, toner, vitamin C, a moisturizer, and of course, sunscreen. So then I think he came back 6 weeks later, but that whole time he was religiously and diligently using the home care, which is everything in this process. So he came back and I did the Mandelic peel, no problem. He didn't even feel it. I left it on for about 5 minutes, let it absorb, and then I put the pumpkin peel on, didn't feel anything. So it's amazing how fast that happens. Again, I put the gel mask on, sent him home. He came back. I think at this point it was maybe like 4 or 5 weeks later. And I did the intensive brightening, pumpkin, retinol, the retinol 2020, the power booster, which is pretty intense. If you guys haven't tried that, it's spicy. So, but the gradual process of this worked like a charm. That's why we are so excited to deliver this to you. And I just want to say, Lisa, good job on this whole presentation. I know that so many people on here have been using the Dermodality line for a long time and have heard this before, but I think Lisa's really been able to help streamline it, make even more sense with the protocols. So we're just really excited about it. So then for me, my photos, I'm sure you guys can all relate. We don't take enough time for ourselves to do treatments, right? I use the Dermodality home care, of course, every day. And if you guys had seen me or know me back in my 20s, I looked pretty old. I was like, I grew up on the beach, so I had a lot of hyperpigmentation, which is still here, but the home care alone helped get rid of a lot of it. So had some fine lines and wrinkles. I'm like chronically dry, so I dealt with that. So just the Dermodality home care really helped to reshape my skin. So that photo in August is actually pretty good for me. Occasionally I would do like a Mandelic and a pumpkin peel when I had time, but again, I just never really did the in-office treatments on myself. So in August, I got serious about doing treatments because in Vegas here, where we have corporate office, we also have our 11-day laser certification course, and then also a med spa. So, and then of course we just launched Dime, our school. So now we have all these like fun modalities and everybody had to practice them. And I was lucky enough to receive some of those treatments. So in the time, also exosomes, and I'm sure that you guys have seen that we are working with H0 exosomes. I cannot speak highly enough about those. If you guys haven't learned about that yet, definitely call us, talk to Lisa about it. We have a class on it. We have a special on them, but they are true intact exosomes, which are able to deliver a message. It is the only vesicle in the body that can deliver a message cellularly. If it's a true exosome, I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that right now, but I did about 3 exosome treatments. The first one I did a chemical peel. I did the Mandelic, pumpkin, course, took it off, and then I put the exosomes on. And then about 4 weeks later, I think I did a fractional radio frequency treatment. And then a few weeks after that, or about a month after that, I did a micro needling followed by the exosomes. After that, I did another of the VFR. So I did 2 fractional radio frequencies. After that, I did another exosome treatment. And then my final treatment was not too long ago. I think it was about 4 weeks ago. This was crazy. I did a microdermabrasion followed by a full face of IPL, followed by microneedling, followed by exosomes, all in one treatment, which, you know, because I'm dry, I can't really withstand a lot, but because of all that conditioning, it just is amazing. I didn't even mean to find this photo, you guys. I'm like running 3 different Instagram channels right now for the school, the med spa, and dermadality. So I'm like, I need content. And I'm looking through my phone and I saw this photo of myself and I was shocked. And I promise you that's not a filter on that side, because I actually did another photo just to make sure. I'm like, wait a minute, this right? And it is. That is actually me. What is that? August, September, October, November, December. God, like 5-6 months later. It's amazing. So it's possible for anybody. Highly, highly recommend this process for all of your clients. Oh, and something else I just want to mention. Sorry, Lisa, I know I'm talking a lot now. For the SKNditioning series, I think that you guys, so what we want to do here with our med spa is we want to sell larger packages, right? So just the other day, we sold a microneedling with exosomes, a package of 3 for $1,500. But this lady had never been here before, so we have to do a little conditioning. So we threw in the SKNditioning package for free, because as Lisa showed you, your cost per treatment is so nominal, right? And if you're selling a $1,500, $2,000 package, whatever it is, then you can afford to throw that series in and be like, and then now they feel like they've got this great value. They're also getting, you know, at least 5 little minis for free. If it was my practice, I'd probably even include another one. So they have 10 of those little minis, you know, quote, quote, free. And then now they're prepped and ready to receive that bigger treatment. And now they've paid a lot of money for it. So there's a couple ways that you guys can weave this in. And then of course, as Lisa said, you know, sell it on its own. These treatments are also maintenance. So now when you've worked really hard to get your client's skin to its optimal level of health and integrity, now you need to maintain it. So, you know, you don't always need to do aggressive treatments, but some treatment has to be done for maintenance. So just wanted to share that.
Absolutely. And everything, Victoria, that you said is so spot on. The idea is to have people come in routinely, right? So I'm a firm believer that we have to always jumpstart the skin, but we don't want to jumpstart it where we're pushing them off into the deep end of the pool, right? We have to teach them how to swim in the shallow end before we move to the deep end. But once we get to the deep end, it doesn't mean that we can't, you know, revisit some more gentle treatments. The idea is that they keep coming in on a routine. So in the beginning, every 2 weeks for an undetermined amount of time, depending on, you know, how their skin is reacting to the treatments and what goal you and your client are trying to achieve. And then the second thing is just like Victoria just said, maintenance, right? Maintenance. We have to do that. I have just a couple more slides that I want to share with you. So first of all, we want you all to become skintelligent. You like all these words? Okay, I'm going to open up the mics here in just a minute. Skintelligent. We want you to become skintelligent about the importance of SKNditioning for the ultimate SKNsurance, right? So how are you going to do this? Well, number one, it always starts with a thorough and detailed comprehensive consultation. Even if you have to book the client for a separate treatment the week ahead so that you can spend adequate enough time with your client, this is so important. And it doesn't stop there. That consultation needs to happen before each and every treatment. That's where you're going to find out if your client changed medication or went on vacation or something terrible happened to them that caused a lot of unexpected stress in their life. So consultation, skin analysis each and every time. And you'll see in these protocols, I have added skin analysis into there. I believe in 2 skin analysis. One, when you're first talking to your client, before you even, done a cleanse or anything, you're taking an assessment of their skin, and then another skin analysis once you've taken off that initial makeup or dirt or debris on the skin, so you can kind of see more of the true skin. Expectations between what your client needs to do to achieve success, expectations of what you can do as a licensed therapist, because as much as we like to think that we can, do magic, we can't, right? We can't take a 40-year-old and turn her into a 20-year-old, but I guarantee you we can make her the best looking 40-year-old out there. So we have to set those realistic expectations. Remember the 80-20 rule. If they're not going to invest 80% of their time into listening to you and committing to you and doing the home care, then, it's all for naught. So, they might as well move on. Home care. Just home care, like that should be part of your everyday conversation with your customers. And if you don't know these two simple words that change everything, I'm going to give them to you free of charge. Highly recommend. I highly recommend that based on what we spoke about earlier, you use these products to achieve these results. Practice that. Practice that. I highly recommend. I actually use that phrase in everything, to my boyfriend. Hi, honey, I highly recommend that you take out the trash now. Anything, you can use those two words, that phrase in anything in everyday life. And then finally, what does this all lead to is commitment to trust and loyalty for your client, but also for you to the client, meaning that you're committed to seeing them through this journey. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day and a fabulous, profitable week.
Yes. Thanks, Lisa. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.